What it do, Bears fans? Quick question, man. Do you think the Bears got a running back issue? Is it time to explore some trades? Maybe look into free agency. All that and more on tonight's show. Let's get it going.
Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
What it do, Bears fans? Your boy KB back at it, man, on a Tuesday night, man. Trying to get a few things out there, man. A couple light discussions, things of that nature. You know how we do it, man. We in and we out, bro. We always on that type of time. Man, tonight, man, I got a real special guest jumping on here with me. I'm giving him a little time to get some things situated. So we're going to bring him in as soon as he's ready to be brought in. But Bears fans, man, my question of the night. Do we need another running back? Should we be looking to trade? What's the general feel? What's the general tone? And speaking of the devil, man, the guy himself, the man, the myth, the legend, the great AC, the bearded Bears fan, my tailgate brethren. You feel me? We out here on Tuesday. AC, man, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing okay. I'm hoping my connection is working out. It kicked me out and I kicked back in, and last night was a disaster, so I restarted my computer. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, technology cooperates with your boy tonight. But yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about these running back position. I don't know if you brought it up, but J.K. Dobbins signed today. So in the last
he did
2-3 days, Nick Chubb signed and J.K. Dobbins both get signed. So a lot of Bears fans who are wanting to add to the Bears running back room are looking via trade. So I'll let you drive, man. I'll ride shotgun. I know it's a different thing for me. Usually, I'm in the driver's seat, but I'll try and keep my mouth shut a little bit and let you drive tonight.
Hey, man, my boy. If y'all don't know, man, this is my brother, man. We've been at this whole thing for 6+ years now, man. It's been wild. It's been a wild ride, man. Now we find ourselves in a different position. You know what I'm saying? Getting a little bit of time to get on here on a Tuesday night, man. My boy ACB out here on a Monday. It say RKB, y'all. That's AC. You know what I'm saying? I ain't twinning it up tonight. I know we look alike. It's hard to tell. You feel me? But hey, man, we talking about some of these running backs tonight. Already we talked about Nick Chubb being gone off the board with the Texans. And J.K. Dobbins just recently signed with Denver. So that's kind of leaving us with slim pickings. We're looking at possibly having to unload draft capital to get a talent. And what kind of talent can you get at this point? Who's available? Who's not available? So we'll bounce through a couple names. We'll throw some values out to say how we feel about that certain player. And I what I'm saying, just want to start off with, what I'm saying, I won't say one of the bigger names, but this running back has been very, very productive for where he's been at. And that's James Cook out of Buffalo. Been a very, very productive player for them. They said he's been top 10 in all-purpose yards the past 2 years. James Cook is looking for a new extension, a new contract, because he's in the final year of his rookie deal. Playing with a perennial, at least a playoff contender with the Bills. They tend to choke against Kansas City in the playoffs, but we won't talk about that. AC, man, you up to speed on me, bro?
I think I'm with you, man.
Okay, cool.
I fixed my name. You talked about James Cook. I just think the price point for him,
Pretty high.
I almost called them the Bulls, if the Bills were to move off of him, it's going to cost a first or a second, and I'm not willing to part with that type of draft
Not at all.
compensation. And on top of that, I feel like James Cook is looking for Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry type money when he gets a new deal.
Absolutely.
He is young, he's still in his prime, so he
Yep.
has every right to ask for that amount. But I myself am frugal. I am not willing to part with the draft capital as well as the
And that's that
$15
money.
million a year in the hopes of him continuing his success. And I mean, we saw it with his brother Dalvin. You know, he was
Mhm.
in Minnesota and had a great career. Then he started getting paid and getting traded around, and now I don't even think he's in the league anymore. And he was, just
Oh,
2 years ago. So you start to worry
yep.
about the hits that all these running backs are taking and how many that they can take. Um, I like James Cook. I think he's a hell of a player. But I think
Mhm.
he should stay in Buffalo. And there were speculation that he wouldn't show up to minicamp, but he did show up to minicamp today. So if it
Okay.
is a hold, it's going to be more of a hold in situation like we have with Roquan, I think.
Gotcha. See, and you know what I'm saying? This is just throwing out the first name that we were going to touch on. I think James Cook is one of those three down type backs, and that's another reason why I don't believe that you're going to be trading the compensation for him. Because, like you said, I don't think first. I think you probably be touching the second for James Cook realistically. And to be honest, I'm not willing to part with that type of compensation just to get him. Because you're getting them and you're paying them immediately. So I get it. It'd be a nice. He'd be nice to have. He'd be awesome to have. But right now, to me, that's one of the more unrealistic trade packages or trades that you would be looking to make. But there are a couple other names that we could bring up. I'm not even going to talk on Jonathan Taylor. I actually heard that rumor out there too, which is weird to me. There's no way in hell I would ever see the coach trading him. That's absolutely ridiculous to me. Uh, the name that I'm most interested
Yeah,
in. Go ahead, AC.
yeah. With Jonathan Taylor, when your quarterback room consists of Anthony Richardson and Danny Dimes, and that's really who you're leaning on for your offense to run, I feel like you're going to lean a lot on the running game with either one of those guys. So Jonathan Taylor being on the trade market just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. They paid him big, and he comes through for them. But realistically, I don't even know if he's on the market. If they're just maybe gauging what they may get for him. You know, if they his usually
Right,
agents will float these players' names out there just to see, okay, well, maybe you can have this, maybe you can get that. You know what I'm saying?
right. So, yeah, like I said, man, to me, that's a name that doesn't need to be really spoke on because I don't see it realistically either. Uh, but like I said, a name that I was looking at is somebody I've always been interested in, Kenneth Walker from Seattle. I was I like
From
Kenneth Walker.
ESSA.com.
Oh, that came out of nowhere.
One interesting case to watch is the running back room in
Oh
Seattle,
wow! See,
led by Kenneth Walker III.
Alexa heard me talking about Kenneth Walker and started talking. I'm like, bro, what the hell is happening? Yeah, Alexa just decided to go off and start trying to speak about Kenneth Walker. Uh, Kenneth Walker coming out of Michigan State, man. He was one of the top backs in that draft class that he came out of. Uh, combined excellent speed and excellent size to me. He seemed to be able to do it all. He was good between the tackles. He was good in the passing game. Well, I say good, decent in the passing game, uh, and seemed to be able to do it all. But issues became staying healthy. You get injuries and they
Uh-huh.
start to derail your career. And as a running back, that's one of the things we worry about the most. If you're injury riddled now, doesn't usually pan out too well for you going down the road. So Kenneth Walker, to me, with what Seattle was doing over there, you have a Zach Charbonnet who could also possibly be on the trade block if that's even something they want to do. I know they drafted somebody this year. I want to say it might be Damian Martinez is who they picked up. I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. But they
Yeah,
had
they've got
Charbonnet. Go ahead, AC.
they've got a pretty good depth chart at the running back position. Like you said, Kenneth Walker, the biggest question mark is his injuries. I think he's a 3-down back, just like we talked about with James Cook. He can catch the ball in the
Yep.
backfield. He blocks well, run between the tackles and get to the outside. The only issue is those injuries, and that's the
Yes.
biggest question mark is, are you again willing to part with draft capital? I don't believe he's up for a contract. I'm not sure what his contract
Oh
situation
no,
is.
he is.
But are you are you willing to uh, put some draft capital toward bringing him in the hopes of him? And I think he will be a really good back. Like Zach Charbonnet as well. I have him in a dynasty fantasy league that I'm in, and he helped me out quite a bit last year because Walker was hurt so
Yeah,
much. So he's able to do everything. And yeah, I want to say that it was Damian
it,
that they drafted this year. But
yep, it was.
he's a big bruiser back that so
Mm,
they'll roll through those guys. And their head coach came from Baltimore, where before Derrick Henry, really between Jamal Lewis and Derrick Henry, you saw a slew of backs where they kind of went running back by committee.
yep.
So maybe they'll want to continue doing that, and that maybe that'll help Kenneth Walker stay healthy. But that doesn't help us as Bears fans. But
Mm,
taking the load a little bit off of him, I think would be healthy for them in Seattle. Um, and I'm trying to think of who the other big name was that people are throwing out there. James Cook and Kenneth
Breece Hall.
Walker. That's it.
Breece Hall
That's it.
before the NFL draft was said to be on the trading block because at that time there was the small possibility that the Jets could take Buddy out of Boise State. And that's sad. I already forgot his name. It's like, bro, if you don't get drafted by the team, I don't care about you for real.
Ashton
But
Genty, is that the name you're looking for?
this is the name I was looking for. Yeah, man. It was the slight talk that the Jets could go in that direction of drafting Genty. And at that point, I guess they, what I'm saying, they have a decent stable of running backs in New York. So it would have been pushing somebody like Breece Hall out, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, because they didn't draft a running back apparently,
Right.
I would also say that Breece Hall to me would be off that list. I don't see them getting rid of Breece Hall when you don't have a replacement for him. And Breece Hall, when he's not hurt, which is the same, we're on the same path right now as Kenneth Walker.
Right.
When Breece
Right.
Hall isn't hurt, Breece Hall is an amazing back. I think he's a 3-down back as well. He just has to stay healthy. What do you got on Breece Hall, bro?
I think it'll watch this year. I know last year may have been a bit disgruntled with Aaron Rodgers, but we've seen as Bears fans the way having Justin Fields in that backfield can pull defenders away and allow your running back to really eat up more yards. I think there's going to be more of a opportunity for Breece Hall going forward with the New York Jets. And the head coach that they hired, the defensive coordinator out of Detroit, he had the two-headed monster. I'm trying to think of who they have with. Is it do they still got Michael Carter out there to go with Breece Hall in their
I think
two-headed
so.
backfield for the Jets?
I think so.
Yeah, they're both young guys. They drafted them in the same draft. And Breece Hall's damn good. I mean, he's a consistent, really good running back. But again, you're looking at, and I keep coming back to the same thing. Am I willing to part with draft capital as well as paying these guys? And to be completely honest, I'm not. And I know that this show is supposed to be about what our trade options are at running back. But if I'm honest, I mean, last week we literally heard Ben Johnson talk about Kyle Monangai and how impressed he was with him getting better each and every day in OTAs. You got Roshan Johnson, who I think steps into a role that Jamal Williams played for Ben Johnson in Detroit as far as short yardage, touchdown type stuff. And DeAndre Swift, I mean, we're kind of writing him off, but we have upgraded our offensive line to a point where let's kind of see what we got. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I want to see what we got. Maybe it'll be a guy that we sign later. Who I think someone said something about watching for Braylon Allen. That's the other guy that they've got with the Jets. Yeah. But thank you, Trump 2024. But he I completely lost my train of thought. He completely threw me off. I don't even remember what I was talking about now. Wow. That just derailed me.
Well, my boy have been thrown off the rails real quick.
Yeah. Because I saw Braylon Allen, I was like, "That's the dude the Jets got." I couldn't remember it, and then it popped up there. Yeah, DeAndre Swift, giving him the ability behind this new and improved offensive line. If he still is not hitting the right holes or is dancing a little too much in the backfield, I don't think Eric Bieniemy I think he's going to have a short hook. I mean, Eric Bieniemy is going to. And we saw it in Kansas City when they had a 7th round pick running back out of Rutgers that came in and replaced the 1st round pick in Clyde Edwards-Helaire there in Kansas City while Eric Bieniemy was there. So it'll be something to watch. I want to see what we do. I think it'll be a bigger conversation as we get into camp cuts and guys that people are letting go. I would much rather pick up a free agent than to trade for someone and have to give away draft capital as well as possibly paying someone. And in today's NFL, man, I know that kind of changed with Saquon and Derek, but it seems like Saquon and Derek are on another tier. You know, it catches up, but so many backfields going into running back by committee or just redraft, dude. Just let the guy go and redraft someone. As awful as it sounds, you know, NFL stands for not for long, and the running back position knows that all too well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, it's wild because we talk about, you know, the Derrick Henrys and the Saquon Barkleys of the world, but not too long ago, I remember Saquon Barkley being looked at by the Bears and seeing Bears fans in on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, saying that he was washed, saying that you don't pay a running back, you don't do this, you don't do that. And sometimes, man, you know, some of them dudes are just special. I've always said Saquon is just special. I would pay for that specialness. And yeah, he played for the Eagles behind one of the best, 1 or 2 O-lines in the league. But hell, it's things that man did when he got out in open space that you just dream for running backs to do. He's a hell of a talent. So
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Going a little bit forward with this because we're talking about some of these camp cuts, some of these guys who could be surprise cuts. That brings me to the next tier of running backs. Because I look at Kenneth Walker, I look at Breece Hall, I look at those guys who can be potential starters on teams. To me, I feel like if you had Breece Hall or you had Kenneth Walker and they stayed healthy, you're looking at somebody who, to me, is better. You know what I'm saying? Better than a DeAndre Swift at this point. But that's not taking into account injuries and whatnot. The other thing you said about DeAndre Swift, I want to touch on once we got out of this segment. Some of these second tier guys, some of these guys I think should be running back by committee guys. Tyler Allgeier, Atlanta Falcons running back. That to me, that backfield is getting a little crowded. My brother in life, he's a Falcons fan, and hated how they used Tyler Allgeier last year. He was just like, man, once they got Bijan, it was the phase out, and he was a little worried that they were going to get rid of him. And I mean, now you start to look at it, Bijan's catching on a little bit more. He's starting to understand the NFL game a little better. Maybe they would look to move a Tyler Allgeier, or maybe he might not survive the camp. Who knows? I don't know if they drafted a running back this year. I didn't keep up in touch with them on that. Then you have the Zach Charbonnets of the world, the guy who saved your ass in fantasy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe he can come save the Bears' ass. Who knows? And then the Tank Bigsby. Now, with that being said, him over in Jacksonville, he was playing hell of a game, hell of a back when he was playing. But Travis Etienne's back. I know they drafted another guy, and that just getting knocked further down the depth chart. Now, at those three names, if somebody just so happened to be, let's say, a cap casualty at this point, let's not go with the trade. Let's say one of them happened to be a cap casualty. Is there one of those three that you feel that you will want more over the other?
Yeah, and to me, maybe it's my SEC bias, but I remember seeing Tank Bigsby at Auburn, man, and he didn't have a whole lot around him. Even after Bo Nix left for Oregon, he was there with him, and then he kind of was touted as being. Watch this. They even were talking Heisman for him preseason, before the season started, but he wasn't able to really step up his game to that level, but he's still an elusive back, great blocking back, and can run between the tackles. And if it was between one of those three, that's the guy that sticks out to me. Tyler Allgeier, not to pull all these names out and take your talking points, but if he were to not make it through camp, I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers would really be in on him because they've got Arthur Smith up there running the offense, and that's who absolutely loved him in Atlanta. I mean, all the times we'd say, "Why aren't they using Bijan?" It was Arthur Smith just trying to hold on to whatever he could with Tyler Allgeier and whatever their third string tight end was. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You got anything to say about your boy Charbonnet, man?
I like Charbonnet, but I feel like he's a piece of a puzzle.
Okay.
It's not. He's not. I don't think he'll ever be the bell cow. And honestly, in today's NFL, I don't know if there are many bell cows. Like we talk about Saquon and Derek, and we talk about maybe a Bijan for the most part. But as far as your bell cow running back, rock all three downs and everything, I feel like it's kind of being pushed out. And we talked to Doug Plank last night. I don't know if you were able to catch it, KB, but we had Doug Plank on, and he talked about as a defender trying to tackle the shifty guys when they get ball. But now you've got committees where you can bring in. I mean, we see it in Detroit, with Gibbs and our guy Monty, where you got your Thunder and Lightning. I just feel like that's the way the NFL is going. To be honest, and I guess that goes on to your point as far as trading for one of these guys, giving up draft capital as weighing them, if they're just a piece to the puzzle as opposed to being the whole puzzle. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I was gonna say, man, looking at next year. To me, that draft class coming out is kind of stronger at the running back position. You got the Loves of the world. I know there are a couple other names, and they're definitely blanking right now, but there are gonna be guys next year. I was listening to a radio show where they said that they felt there could be 4 running backs that could be taken in the first round. And to me, it just blew my mind because I'm like, bro,
wow.
Last time we heard more than 2. So, sometimes sticking the course, you know what I'm saying, staying the course isn't always a bad thing. We can see what we got this year and You know what I'm saying? That could be the worst thing we have to fix next year. If next year the worst thing that we have going is a running back room, I think you've done your job as a GM. That being said, my Chicago Sports Podcast, the guy himself, so Pacheco's of the world aren't going to have a great season if they aren't built like Saquon or Derek. Hey man, look, Pacheco had a great season when he came out. That man ran angry. So if my young guy came out and decided he was going to do the same thing, I'd be all for it. All for it. But I'm staying on a talent level. Saquon and Derrick Henry are that's the cold foam in the coffee if you like Starbucks. You feel me? So like that's those guys are just up there. They're that well. Hell, Saquon ran the Eagles into a Super Bowl. He didn't do shit in the Super Bowl, but hell, he got him there. To me, that was the biggest thing to me. You can say Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry.
He was a big decoy.
Absolutely. They sold out to stop that man and let Jalen Hurts throw for over 300 yards. Just saying.
Right.
That being said, are there any?
Well, and it really, in my opinion, and we might have it now that we've invested in our offensive line, we might have it to where we're ready to really put a running back in there, but we don't know because we haven't really seen it. Although PFF loves our pickups, they graded our guards as the second best in the league, and they graded Drew Dahlman as like the fifth best center in the league. So they're loving the interior that we picked up. But it feels like those running backs are the cherry on top of the sundae.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of Dahlman, man, I'm pretty sure they had a picture of Dahlman, him and my cousin up in a picture, bro. I was like almost 1,000% sure that was Andrew getting picked up like that, and I was like, bro, first of all, don't do my cousin like that. If that's him, no, hey man, get your paws off him, okay? Now, the other part of me was like, I hope that bodes well for the rest of the year. So yeah, man. I seen.
Well,
I seen
definitely
the PFF.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm saying I seen the PFF thing saying that they graded us out as the number 2 guard with guards. I was like, that's wild to me because it's the Bears' offensive line. It's always been shitty. Go ahead, AC.
Yeah, it feels like we've really been trying to fix this offensive line problem since Olin Kreutz left. And I'm speaking of Olin Kreutz, he even spoke on how much he was appreciative of them investing money and resources into the offensive line finally, which we've been begging for, as you know, AC. You said we are KB. We've been podcasting for 6 years, and we've always talked about pound on the offense. Come on, get offensive line in here. You know, we had Charles Leno on the left side forever, and he was fine, but we felt like we could upgrade. You know, we've just always been looking for it, and I think it really starts right there with Drew Dahlman, who you talked about. If you don't have a good center, everyone could talk about left tackle, right tackle, whatever. But if you don't have a good center, I feel like that shuts it down right away. You know what I'm saying? A smart, cerebral guy who knows what he's looking at. And I think I've spoken on here before, the ability to work with a young quarterback, because we saw him just recently with Michael Penix down there in Atlanta. You know, he's helping him point out protections and watch out for this safety and that. And I feel like I get like this every year. I was never an Eberflus fan, but I am excited about the Chicago Bears this year, and it's more than normal. Not only what we've done, but what the rest of the division has lost. I mean, we go to Detroit, we grab their offensive coordinator. Their defensive coordinator goes to New York, who we talked a lot about tonight. Their center, Frank Ragnow,
retires out of the blue.
Retired last week. Yeah, retired last week, so they're scrambling to find a new center now. We saw just last week or a couple days ago, Jair Alexander gets cut in Green Bay. He missed a lot of time. He played 4 games one season, 16 games the next season where he was an All-Pro, and then he played back-to-back seasons where he only played 7 games. But that's it's a leader in your locker room. It's a leader in the film room because they got a bunch of young corners. I think Carrington Valentine, Kentucky guy, is their maybe on paper CB1. But yeah, it'll be something to watch. And then Minnesota, they're all in on JJ McCarthy. So we'll see if we're able to make up the difference. But I'm really excited. And you know what I absolutely love, KB, more than anything? How many times with the last coaching staff? I know I'm going off on a limb here. I apologize.
It's all good, bro.
I'm jacking your show, but
it's all
how many
good, bro.
times did we hear Eberflus and the coaching staff say, we're not going to walk past mistakes. We're going to police this up as it happens. But saying it and doing it are two different things. We are seeing this coaching staff. If they don't break the huddle right, get your ass back here and huddle it up again. If it doesn't sound right, we're doing it again. If it doesn't look right, we're doing it again. Yep. And if I feel like Denzel Washington and Remember the Titans, you will be perfect.
Exactly.
and they push for perfection. And if they're not getting it, they're going to let you know about it. It's not they're literally not walking past mistakes. We wanted accountability, and the guys wanted to be coached harder. Well, by God, we went out and got it. And I am so happy to see the Chicago Bears turn the page on this.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, you get the feel of a coach when he speaks. You know what I'm saying? When Ben Johnson is up there talking, you get the sense that okay, he might be new at doing this as a head coach, but I'm not worried about him not being able to coach these players up. I feel like he gonna put that third foot in somebody's ass. You feel me? I think that's what Ben Johnson is on, and that's all you look for. To me, that's something that's been missing for the past decade in Chicago. And that's sad to say because in 10 years we've been through what, 3 coaches? You've been through the Fox era, you've been through the Nagy era, now the Eberflus era. It's like you just didn't feel that era of accountability from any of these guys. John Fox just seemed like he was there.
Right. Yeah, he was kind of looking at the golf course when he got here, wasn't he? He was ready to. I think he was ready to retire. He just didn't know it yet. And what's he gonna do? Turn down the job? Yeah. Shout out to Melon Smasher here. He's putting up numbers of the other coaches around the division.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, right there. LaFleur, 70 wins, 6 seasons, 3 playoff wins. Campbell, 44 in 4 seasons, 2 playoff wins. O'Connell, 34 wins, 0 playoff wins in 3 seasons. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Mellow Smash, we appreciate this.
Absolutely. I would say, and again, this isn't what we were supposed to talk about tonight, but the NFC West and the NFC North, as far as coaching, AFC West is pretty daggone good too, I guess. When you think of Andy Reid and now they added Pete Carroll, that's their quote unquote bottom tier head coach in that division. Jim Harbaugh out there, but yeah, right. And then the NFC West, you got
McVay,
Sean, yeah.
Shit, who's the coach of Shannon? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot he was there.
Well, it's gonna be
it's been a wild off season,
big season.
It is.
Yeah. And how many times have we seen the 49ers under Shanahan miss the playoffs? Yeah, it'll be crazy.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, man, real quick, because you had touched on it a little bit. This is kind of jumping on the other side of this by saying, to be honest, I think we could probably leave the running back room alone for this year. Yeah, once they get passed on, we'll see kind of where everybody is at. If this O line takes the leap that we're all expecting it to take, DeAndre Swift almost rushed for 1,000 yards behind that offensive line we had last year. You know what I'm saying? I know people are down on him for reasons. He tends to run east and west a lot instead of north and south. He likes to try to bounce because he's always looking for the big play. If Bienemy can get on him about, man, take the yardage when it's there, try to get up into the hole and find the space to run up the middle instead of trying to bounce out and losing 3 or 4 yards. It's always about a positive play mentality. If you can get that in DeAndre Swift's head, I believe Swift would be just fine. I believe you'll have. I'll say this. This would be my guess, like how I feel about DeAndre Swift. If DeAndre Swift can run north and south and stop trying to bounce for the big play, I think he might rush for 1,200 yards this year. That's me personally thinking.
Wow.
You see the specialness in him in certain flashes. Like when we played Green Bay and he took off for that long run, it was like, okay, where the hell has this been all year? But you see it happening in bursts. You know, I'm like the small bursts. Like, oh, okay, he can do this, but you got to put the old line in front of him. So I'm not so like completely 100% sold on Swift, but I'm also not completely 100% checked out on him. I would love to see how he completes this year. And there's also the part of me that would love to see Roschon Johnson actually get more touches. I feel like there's more there than what we've seen the past 2 years with him being with Chicago. I think he can be decent. To me, I don't know if you remember when Tampa Bay had Cadillac Williams and the other guy. I can't remember the other guy's name, but you had Cadillac Williams. Cadillac Williams was fucking Cadillac. It was a big motherfucker. Yeah. You hear me?
Yeah.
But I feel like Roschon can be something similar to like how Cadillac Williams was. You don't have to be the guy, but he got the yardage. He scored touchdowns. He was a good player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the little time he was there. And also we got my nun guy. He's getting praise. And hell, he led the Big Ten in rushing last year. I think like that's wild to me. Caleb Johnson was in the Big Ten. We had 2 Ohio State running backs who were in the Big Ten. I mean,
Michigan running the ball too, you know.
Right, Michigan. It was like, but this kid didn't get talked about at all. Yeah. So I'm interested in seeing what we got there. But that being said, man, is there anything else that you want to say real quick, man? Because like I said, man, we almost at the 40 minutes. I ain't trying to keep these people up all night. And I know your ass tired, AC.
I mean, I am tired. You know, I wake up early for work, but I love talking Bears. I could stay up all night talking some Bears. But I will say we've got over 40 in the chat. If y'all could all hit the like, comment, subscribe to Chicago Sports Podcast right here on YouTube. Come on in, and if y'all are in the chat, tell us about, is there a running back you got your eyes on, or that you think like we kind of talk. I feel like we need to stay away from trading, kind of go with what we got. I mean, you broke it down perfectly. DeAndre Swift, I want to see what he can do behind this new and improved offensive line. Roschon Johnson's a guy that we were live when he got drafted. Remember, KB? So we've been watching this dude since the day he got drafted, and we were really excited with where he could go and what he represented on and off the field. He was a team captain at Texas, on a Texas team where he backed up Bijan Robinson. So he's got leadership qualities on and off the field. And I got to tell you, man, I think Monunga is going to really push for this job. I really do. I think the way he plays, the way he runs, doesn't turn the ball over, never had a fumble at Rutgers, knock on wood. I don't know how long that'll be continued, but I love Kyle Monungai. We've already seen Eric Bieniemy getting his ass a little bit about blocking,
Oh yeah.
but he gives 100% effort, and that's all you can ask for out of these guys is just come
Absolutely.
out, show up, work your butt off, and may the best man win. But I don't feel like we need to go out. And a lot of Bears fans, you get attached to the shiny name. I would have been cool with Nick Chubb. You wouldn't have heard me come on
Yeah.
here and complain about us adding a Nick Chubb or even a
Hell,
J.K.
at all.
Dobbins for that
Absolutely.
matter. But I would love to see what we have in the building before going out, trading away resources, etc. But yeah, I guess that's my 2 cents. You heard it here first. Kyle Monungai will fight for this starting role. You heard it right here from AC on the Chicago Sports
Oh,
Podcast.
my boy, AC say shooting that shot off, boy. Look at you.
Sometimes you got
Coming
to.
on the show doing things, bro. Like I said, I would absolutely love for him to push for that job, man. Like I said, without in the same breath, I would love to see what DeAndre Swift and Johnson can do. But if none guy takes it, that means that he's the best in the room. Nothing wrong with that, man. He's on the team.
Right.
All you can hope for is for every player on the team to give 100% effort. That being said, man, hey man, like I said, it's a Tuesday night, man. You know your boy KB and AC and KB bar fight tailgate holding this bit down. We do it, boy. We do it. Back at it on Tuesday night, man. Coming at you with a quick tidbit about this running back situation. Do you think it's the worst situation in the world? Do you think it's good? You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe, comment, do all that. Explain your thoughts and your feelings out in the comment section. We read those.
Yeah.
That being said, man, like I said, man, I just want to hit y'all with a little bear down for the end of the night. Y'all take it easy. My boy AC, KB is here, baby.